Hello friends, welcome back. In our previous video, we had seen how to improve creativity and lateral thinking with the help of behavioral practices. Well, this video tutorial is an extension of the previous one. We will see the best habitual practices that is supposed to improve our creativity and lateral thinking. It's me again, Bhanu, the writer of Stuff You Look blog. The first factor that we will be considered here is working with patterns and puzzles. The best way of developing lateral thoughts fastly is by brainstorming. Brainstorming exercises such as puzzles and math games have to be practiced regularly and, of course, repeatedly. It was proved by research that one can develop lateral thoughts when he or she spends most of his or her time with patterns. Observing the trend of the pattern or framing a new pattern are all some good ways of brainstorming. It's easy to see many designers or creative people around, but it's always difficult to find designers with mathematical ability. And I can say a creative person with good or average mathematical ability, puzzle or solving capabilities performs superbly in his career. If you don't have any mathematical background, then I strongly suggest you to go through some basics. Trust me, puzzles really puzzle you as well as keep you entertained. Solving puzzles and patterns are one of the best habit one can have. The next concern is doing multiple activities. Every time handling a single job or work reduces your diverse capabilities and hence diminishes your creative thoughts. It's good to work in focused and concentrated manner. Likewise, it's even more good to master multiple thoughts by doing simultaneous things. Cultivate the habit of doing multiple activities. For example, listening to music while say browsing. Think for ideas while you are traveling by say bus or train or even while you are jogging. Engage yourself busy with lateral thoughts, otherwise your mind will get rusted like iron gets rusted when it's idle. An empty mind is always dangerous. Being in a supportive environment is the next factor in our discussion. The surroundings on which you live or work will greatly affect your lateral thinking ability. Make the surroundings of your living place most comfortable to you. The following nature of environment will greatly boost your creative thinking. Calm and noiseless environment, keeping away from negative people, active state without feeling sleepy, free from stress or tension conditions, access to natural pleasure like say fully ventilated room with fresh air flowing or greenery etc. As far as possible, spend less time on TV. Television is the best distractor of all time, as we usually get addicted once we start watching that. If you're interested, spend time on interesting channels like National Geographic, fun and humor channels, and many more. Being productive, in other words, not wasting time, is the next factor. A time waster can be more or less considered as a loser. Time is the most precious of all. Spending time idle is the worst thing one can practice. Instead, try to analyze the surroundings. Analyze whatever appears to your eyes, or instead stick to some music. Spare greater time to think. Spend more time for internal thinking rather than wasting time on chats, television, dating, etc. You could utilize your time by any of the following activity: puzzles, gaming, reading stories or comics, browsing web for new topics, visiting aspiring places, watching animations, and a lot more to mention. The habit of playing games helps to improve your creative thinking. Research confirmed that playing games, especially mind, action, and puzzling video games, are the best source of lateral thinking. These days, children are active and creative, right? That's because they spend considerable amount of time for games. Offline games like Sudoku and many more to mention also helps one to develop mentally. Remember, age is not a restriction for playing games. Many feel that am I child to play these games, and so they don't even put their hands on games. I can say there's no wrong in playing games, especially mind games, except for the case when you get addicted to it. If possible, play online games on Lumosity as well as some other brainstorming exercises. Lumosity is a great place to practice as well as to improve your capabilities. Give a try, lumosity.com. Okay? Think like a child but act like an adult. Next, we will see how crafts, artworks, and do it yourself, I mean DIY exercises, helps in improving creativity. Creativity can be best demonstrated through sketches, paints, or any other artworks. Sketching and painting are the best ways of exploring our thoughts. Try to do this even if you are not good at sketching. Cultivate the habit of going through crafts, creative artworks, as well as paintings of others, as many as you can. These kind of works go beyond imagination, and if one observes this with utmost care, then one can learn new dimensions in creativity. Today's internet world is filled with countless number of websites where we can find many creative people those whom are unique, thinkable, and of course guidable. Find these people and get connected with them. Keep updated with their creative works by analyzing their ideas. This process will definitely help you in learning the new possibilities in creative field. Of course, this will also reduce your fear of being different because you will be involved in the environment of such crazy and different people, right? The following list shows some of my favorite websites where you may find good number of creative people. Pinterest, Behance, DeviantArt, Flickr, Corofloat. Okay, you may search this or Google this. Okay, DIY stands for do it yourself. Most of the works were carried with already used or waste things. Utilizing already used or waste things to make something new is the best possible way of opening our doors to lateral thinking. Our mind will run in all possible ways to generate ideas of alternate uses. In fact, DIY objects might be helpful to you also. So try to develop DIY thoughts at leisure, especially with unused or waste things. Like you observed crafts and paintings works of others, observe the DIY ideas of others too. The above social networks helps you with DIY works. Try to be alone for quite a part of a day to improve creativity. To be creative, one should find time to develop ideas. So you need to cater a part of the day for yourself. Remember, when you are always with some company, then you would be getting very less time for self-thinking as you would be engaged with them either discussing on something or simply chatting. So there's no time for your thinking. Research says that one who keeps alone for quite a time develops lateral thinking fastly. Mistaking Ross. Don't hesitate to do mistakes. Do you ever felt guilty of doing some fault designs or decisions? Well, never feel like that. Mistake doesn't mean a failure, it is a process of learning, an art. But make sure that you learn from whatever mistakes you do. In other words, don't repeat the same mistakes repeatedly. If you fear for committing mistake, then you won't be taking the initiative of starting the thing. And like I said earlier, when you don't try, you won't get to know whether your thoughts are true or not, right? Learning new unrelated topics is a way of improving creativity. Like I discussed in exposure section in behavioral practices, learning is a continuous process, and the more we learn, the more we get ideas. Try to learn or go through the topics that you never come across. Going through unrelated topics demands your presence, and therefore you would concentrate more on that subject. Did you ever tried making chapatis or rotis with an iron box? Crazy, I too never tried that before. It just flashed while writing. Okay, to get such ideas, you should know that something like an iron box exists and that it is meant to heat and iron clothes. Without aware of the iron box, you couldn't have framed that idea, right? What I'm trying to say is you should expose yourself to as many things as possible by learning about them, their working principles, etc. Preferably day to day used things or products in order to incorporate or use them in other ideas. Okay? Listening to aspiring music is our next concern. Music boosts our mood and helps in creating ideas. I can say 98% of this world's population loves music. That may be of different genres. Everybody has their own taste. Experiments confirm that slow, melodious, and classical music are best for soothing mind, I mean calming mind, while rock or pop songs boost the confidence and hence keep the mind active. Make the habit of enjoying music as much as possible. Open up. This world is filled with good and bad people. There will be many people who try to pull you when you are about to grow to higher level. In this process, you may come across people whom criticize you or laugh at you for what you have done or proposed. Okay, eliminate the fear of being criticized by others. Open up and share your thoughts. Let the world laugh at you today, only to find the importance in it tomorrow. When you move away from the regular track, then whatever you do will assume creativeness and will be different to the surrounding people. Photography guides you. Carefully observing each and every part of the photography is also a good mind exercise. Capturing things in different unique views or observing others' photography are all some of the best ways of improving visualization or observation skills. Remember, the more you observe, the more creative thoughts you will get. Okay, here is a list of best social networks that will help you find creative photographers. Pinterest, Flickr, Instagram, Google Plus, and finally Tumblr. Doing inspiring or interesting work is the next factor to discuss. Okay, here is my 80 by 20 thumb rule. If you are doing interesting tasks, then you might complete 80% of the task in just 20% of the time. But when you are doing uninteresting tasks, then you might complete only 20% of the task in 80% of the time. True, isn't it? That's a huge difference. Your productivity is directly proportional to your interest. It's really difficult to tackle a task that doesn't entertain or interest you. Therefore, try to focus on areas where you feel like never or least bored with good interest. Okay. Take some inspirations to speed up your task. Creativity can be expected only when you are interested. Work with satisfaction. Okay, hope you enjoyed watching this video. Well, friends, we will list and discuss more habitual practice in our next video. Till then, try to practice the discussed topics. Visit our blog stuffyoulook.blogspot in to get more information as well as get designer guide. See you guys. See you soon.